watching BIMS TV.
Hello everyone, welcome back to BIMS TV and the third video in the BIMS Blue Gap Collaborative series. My name is Rose Santana and today I will be taking a bite into the pollution of drinking water due to nitrogen contamination and its health impacts. As we've learned before, nitrogen is an essential element for life and our nutrition, but too much nitrogen in the environment in the form of nitrates, ammonia, and urea is a form of pollution. These compounds can have negative effects on our health as well as the environment itself. And in this video, we will explore how nitrogen can get into our drinking water, its health risks, and ways to prevent contamination. First, let's talk about sources of excess nitrogen. Nitrogen excess in sources of drinking water is a growing concern due to the widespread use of fertilizers in agriculture. When these fertilizers are applied to crops, the excess nitrogen can run off into water sources such as aquifers and contaminate them. Other sources of nitrogen pollution in water include wastewater, landfills, animal feedlots, septic systems, and urban drainage. In some cases, nitrogen contamination can occur due to poorly constructed wells, which can allow nitrogen to seep into the water. To understand the severity of nitrogen contamination in drinking water, let's look at a case study from California. In 2011, California had 10 to 15% of public wells contaminated by nitrate, far exceeding the state standards. This contamination was due to nitrogen in fertilized soils, septic systems, and wastewater treatment plants leaching into public wells. Now, California had to treat these public wells to meet the safe water drinking criteria. It is costly to tackle nitrate contamination. It was a $150 million cleanup in the state of California, which ultimately is paid for by tax money. There are now some regulatory measures in place both on state and local levels to avoid the problem from happening again in California, but not in most other places. There are some things that you can do to find out if your water is contaminated. Now let's talk about the health impacts of nitrogen contamination. The health impacts of nitrogen contamination in drinking water can be severe. In fact, infants are the most vulnerable to nitrates in drinking water. Nitrate consumed by the infants in water or infant formula prepared with water with high nitrate is converted to nitrite in the infant's digestive tract, which is then absorbed into the bloodstream. Nitrites react with the hemoglobin to form methanoglobin, reducing the blood's ability to transport oxygen. Yikes, right? This condition has been known in the USA since at least the 1940s. Adverse health effects are possible also for adults that drink high nitrate water. Nitrite resulting from the reduction of nitrate consumed in drinking water can react with organic chemical compounds in the bladder and the digestive system to form another organic chemical compound called N-nitroso, which has a potent carcinogenic effects and can cause bladder, colorectal, and ovarian cancer. Now that doesn't sound like fun. Other diseases reported are thyroid disease and diseases of the nervous system, so it is an issue. Now, it's not all gloom and doom. We've talked about the bad parts of it. Let's talk about preventing contamination. So, Rose, how can we prevent contamination in our drinking water? Great question. One of the most important things is to be informed. Are you exposed to contamination? How can you fix the problem? Can you help your community to make sure your water is safe to drink? Natural levels of nitrogen in drinking water are usually less than 3 milligrams per liter, and the health concerns is usually with levels of nitrate of around 10 milligrams per liter, according to the EPA. So, to prevent contamination, you should construct your well, if you are constructing your well, in a safe spot away from sources of nitrate. These sources may include fertilizers, septic tanks, and animal waste. It's important to inspect your well for contamination of damage regularly. You should test your well and your tap water at home for nitrate every other year using an accredited laboratory to ensure accurate results. If you're unsure about how to test your well or your drinking water at home or need help finding a laboratory, you should contact your county environmental or public health services, as they'll be able to lead you into the right direction. And remember, a licensed well contractor can help fix your problems with your well. But it doesn't always need to be a grand scale thing. There are also everyday things that we can individually do to prevent increasing nitrogen contamination in our environment. It's best not to use fertilizers at all. You can keep your lawn healthy and thriving without the use of fertilizers. If you have to fertilize, avoid fertilizing if there's a lot of rain. For example, here in Florida, we have a wet season. No sense in fertilizing when it's going to rain every day. Other ways are to sweep up grass clippings after mowing the lawn and dispose of them properly so they don't wash away from driveways, sidewalks, and streets. This will also help keep nitrogen out of the stormwater and out of our waterways. If you still have one, replace your septic system or cesspool with an innovative and advanced treatment system, or just switch to a sewer system. Now, these new systems have the ability to reduce nitrogen and as a result, protect our water quality. Typically, switching from a septic tank to a sewer system can cost anywhere between $3,000 and $7,000, depending on your area, but you should check with your local government to see if there are any grant programs that can help you cover the cost. Next, plant native trees and plants. Plants help reduce runoff by soaking up stormwater and the nitrogen that often comes with it. So why not grow plants in your yard rather than the algae in nearby lakes and coastal waterways? Try replacing some of your lawn with a native plant garden. They provide a natural habitat that supports the local ecology, and it's better for our ecosystems. And for the love of everyone around you, pet owners, pick up after your dogs. Animal waste contains nitrogen and bacteria that pollute our waterways when it rains. You can help by picking up after your pet on walks and in your backyard. I know it may seem like a small thing, but if everybody collectively had the mindset of trying to do what's best for the environment, we'd be so much better off, wouldn't we? Now, in conclusion, nitrogen contamination of drinking water can have severe health impacts on both infants and adults. It's essential for us to understand the risks of contamination and whether your drinking water has excess nitrogen. Test your water regularly and prevent nitrogen contamination by taking appropriate measures to ensure that your well is constructed properly, inspecting it regularly, and testing for nitrate levels, as well as your septic tanks, because oftentimes we don't even know that they're damaged. By taking these precautions, we can ensure that our drinking water remains safe for all of us. Now, we hope that you learned something today about the impacts of nitrogen pollution in our drinking water. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave us a comment or reach out to us on any of our social media handles. And as always, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our partners and sponsors for helping us spread environmental awareness to all of our communities. Till next time.